Whole Foods CEO John Mackey under fire from some customers and labor unions over a recent op-ed he wrote on healthcare, saying healthcare is not a right and warning against a government-run plan. So, do CEOs have the right to speak out on hot-button issues? Or would they and the companies they run be better served by just keeping it shut? Susan Battley joins us, leadership psychologist and CEO of Battley Performance Consulting. Dan Gross, senior editor and columnist for Newsweek. Susan, what do you think? Should he have, I mean, he's entitled to speak.
Well, CEOs are the public face of their companies, Mark. So their prime responsibility is to protect the company, protect the brand. And Whole Foods, of course, has established itself as a premium brand, focusing progressively on health, organic food, etc. So here is Mackey violating, in some ways, marketing 101, because the principle is know your customer. So many of Whole Foods customers really have a progressive attitude and values, and so putting this, this stake in the sand in terms of his own attitudes is really, in some ways, angering and alienating his customer base. Not wise.
Stupid is the word I would think of. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I think it's fine for them to have ideas and even to express them. You have to be concerned about the tone and the venue. If you do it in a way that you're just kind of delivering cable news talking points, saying, oh, he's a socialist, he's ruining America, etc., well, that's going to tick off the Obama devotees who shop at Whole Foods. I mean, Rebecca Jarvis just reported from a site near Columbia University where I would guess there is not a McCain voter in a 4-mile radius. On the other hand, it's, when CEOs talk about the experience at their companies, plenty of other CEOs have weighed in on healthcare reform. Steve Bird of Safeway has written some very intelligent, thoughtful op-eds describing about how his company is trying to deal with rising costs and all the things they're doing and what conclusions we can draw from that.
Right.
Walmart CEO now talking about the need for some sort of national healthcare type of issue. So it's not necessarily exactly what you think that's the problem or expressing the opinion. It's whether you do it in a thoughtful manner that is somehow useful to the public debate.
Well, I mean, in this case, Susan, he did it in a thoughtful way, right? I mean, it was an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, but what he said flew directly in the face of what his customers would generally believe in. I shop in Whole Foods. It's all about organic. Everybody's bringing in the bag from home that they brought. I mean, they give you a dirty look if you leave there with a new paper bag. And he's saying, basically the opposite of what his customers would think. Is there a lingering impact from that, do you think, or is it just a temporary? I mean, there are protesters out front, but then the next week you still want to go get the food from Whole Foods, don't you?
This is going to be very interesting in terms of how this plays out, because I think the question is, will Mackey be best served now by basically being quiet and letting this play out? It's a very good question, but I think, too, we look at Facebook. This past week, there's a boycott Whole Foods group, which is over 27,000 members. So whether this has got steam or not remains to be seen. I think one thing about premium brands, and this is really critical, I think, in terms of CEO effectiveness now, is that people who are really responding and are using their discretionary income have an emotional attachment to that brand. And many now of those customers have felt a betrayal of trust. And nowadays, CEOs really need to be operating in high-definition mode. That is, they need to communicate clearly, consistently, in a way that's congruent with the brand. And this is where I think Mackey has really, hopefully he's learned the lesson here. It's a great success story. Let's hope that, he learns from it and then adjusts accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, doesn't this come down to your personal responsibility as the CEO of your company, especially a public company? I mean, you're out there representing, supposed to be doing the best for your shareholders. It's nice that you have your own political beliefs, but, I mean, he's not serving his shareholders, right?
Absolutely. And I think, for CEOs, it is most useful when they talk about public policies that directly affect their businesses. When CEOs of industrial companies are talking about the importance of things like free trade, where that's what they believe, but it also, those policies directly benefit their companies, their shareholders. I think it's possible, however, to make too much of these boycott efforts. Nobody boycotted Starbucks when their CEO called for national health care.
Yeah.
People like good coffee. And for, I think, liberal people in general, when it comes to a choice between good arugula and a good Olive Bar and their political consciousness, the arugula and the Olive Bar will always win out.
I don't know.
Okay,
This
we
may be
gotta,
the
we
one
gotta
company.
go. In one word, Dan, should they fire him?
No.
No. Okay. And Susan.
No, they shouldn't. But he should really focus on making a difference, not divisiveness.
Flat out of time. Thank you both very much for joining the debate. Interesting. I agree with what Dan said. I mean, you're the public face of the company. And Susan said it too. You're the public face of the company. You got to be careful about what you say, no matter what you believe. Thanks for watching Squawk on the Street. I'm Mark Haynes.